from Studio A at 1 Biloxi Square in Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome in, everyone, to a Wednesday edition of the Grandpa and Pappy Show. And it's really good to have all of you here with us.
Yeah, welcome
as
back,
we start
everybody.
a new day and middle of the week.
I don't care how old I get, I'm never going to get tired of Kenny Bulldog Willis's jam.
Oh,
that boy can play a guitar.
that boy can eat
He can
one
play.
up.
He can play anything with strings on it and rat-a-tat-tat too. By God.
I believe that. I sure do.
Boy, Sirs. He's
Well,
one of
we
them Sirs
welcome you
Hallfield
in,
boys.
everyone. There's some crazy things going on in our country. The second impeachment trial of President Trump gets underway today. More waste of the taxpayers' monies. Hell, he's only got a few days left. Let the man go in peace.
It's not even worthy of setting the whole family around a tube anymore. You know?
No kidding.
I mean, you remember when the president talked, the whole family would sit around the TV
yeah,
with big
absolutely.
eyes and mouth hanging open. Yeah.
I do. Very well.
I miss those DAZE.
In case you have not been around the news lately, the Democrats are opening impeachment hearings in Washington today, as I told you.
Yeah.
That's because the vice president will not invoke the 25th Amendment against the president.
He not stupid.
The New York Times is calling on all conservative commentators to quit saying the election was a fraud or risk being taken off the air.
Silence! I kill you.
Yes. Financial institutions have said they will no longer put up any money into the businesses owned by the Trump family.
Yeah.
New York is pulling its $12.5 million in contracts with Trump today.
Let him float out to sea. I don't give a
Yeah. Professional Golf Association pulled its tournament at one of the Trump golf courses
They can
last
float
week.
out to sea too. I don't care about that.
Some key Republicans are blaming Trump for the riot in Washington last week and are now favoring impeachment. You got to figure out which side you're on, boys.
Trump got something for your ass.
Facebook, Twitter, and others are saying to phase out anyone who supported President Trump in the election and thereafter. Parler and Walkaway have already been removed, and anyone who mentions in a post about the election fraud will be removed from those social media outlets.
And you know what, amigo? A little personal message to Facebook and Mr. Buckerzerg. I'm not going to miss you too much. But YouTube also jumped on that bandwagon, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They took
that
down
bothers me.
President Trump's YouTube channel last night.
Man,
There's a war on conservatives everywhere, trust
They
me.
got to them.
Forbes magazine warned any employee that works for them that supports Trump will be considered a detriment to the company and will be fired.
Never read that ragged piece of crap anyway, so whatever.
And
Forbes.
finally, this ought to get the ears of a lot of you out there that own businesses. Some financial institutions have now warned businesses who are conservative that they may risk being shut off from the financial loans and money they need to support their companies.
This will come back to haunt on you people, I guarantee you, man. Because it came by ill-gained means. So.
Yeah, one senator,
Screw
Democratic
y'all.
senator, said that all the Trump supporters need to be deprogrammed from what they believe. Now, that ain't going to happen. Trust me.
They'll try to find a way to make it happen. You know
Well,
that.
we ask your reaction to the D.C. protests from last Wednesday.
And as usual.
They have come through, Pappy,
Why is that?
because they always do.
They rock.
They rock.
You guys rock.
Ron Hathaway said left-wingers are Antifa dressed as Trumpers.
Yeah.
A small number went inside while Trumpers stayed outside. If 100 to 200,000 people wanted to mess things up, it would have happened.
Kind of brings back thoughts to my little half a brain cell that's left from the 60s about Antifa dressed as Trumpers, kind of like Michelle being dressed as a man.
You think?
No last names mentioned. Joey Thibault agreed with Ron, saying it was breached really easy, so I agree with his statement. James White said, I agree 100%. Belinda Tatum up in Oklahoma said they look like and act like Antifa. Did you see the Antifa flag in the Capitol?
Yes, I did, Belinda. I
Yeah.
surely did.
Yeah, I did too.
That
I
ought
did
to
too.
tell you something right there.
Yep.
Lord have mercy.
But we had an agenda too, by God.
T. Aguilar said Antifa infiltrators and instigators.
Yeah.
Chelsea Lee Phillips said it's all so sad and embarrassing, and Tiffany Miller says it was just simply horrible.
Simply. Yeah. No, well, it goes beyond simply. Bob Baker said, I think it's time for Texas to leave the party before we get stuck with the check. Kind of like,
love that, Bob.
Charlie Sheen's brother in 2.5 Men, you know. He forgot his wallet.
Yeah, he always does.
Somebody gonna get stuck, by God. Bet it was him.
Big Matt Bannister asked why we're referring to it as an incident. We need to take over Capitol Hill and take our country back because enough is enough.
And I agree with you, Big Matt, but it is an incident because I think there's bigger, better things yet to come.
Well, as much as they're trying to cut the conservative voices off from America in every form or fashion,
Yeah.
Pappy and I'll keep it up here voicing your opinions
As long as
till
we're
they
allowed
shut us
to.
off. Yeah,
And by the way, Hodge twins, you guys rock.
you do.
Keep your powder dry, and by God, keep on trucking.
Absolutely.
Sandy Bennett Armistead said it's just a whole lot different from their side was riding. From when their side was riding, I'm sorry. Burning, looting, and blocking highways. We just want the president that the people voted for.
Yeah.
I agree.
Bobby Hearn said that they are just as much in the wrong as the dumbass people last summer. End of story. Matt Bannister asked
Okay,
Bobby, so were our forefathers wrong for going out against the British? To which Bobby Hearn said it's not even the same thing. But Big Matt Bannister disagreed, saying, yes, very much the same. But you have to be able to see past the end of your nose first.
Booyah.
Booyah.
Doug Gressett says one of the most secure buildings in the world was breached by a group of unarmed individuals that were able to reach the floor of the Senate. This was a BS setup to make sure that Trump's exit was tarnished beyond all doubt. In which Penny Steele told Doug, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, you could see very clearly on the live video feed when they're showing the breach of the Capitol building that the smart ones took the stairs. They didn't climb the wall.
Well, you could also see where the Capitol Police, instead of maintaining their presence behind the steel banisters there,
Yeah.
that they just opened them up.
Yeah.
Now go figure that.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they had explicit direction in what to do and how to act. You
Yeah.
know? I mean,
Zach Wilbur said how we as Republicans can talk crap about BLM and Antifa for doing the same thing we just did. I'm disappointed in Republicans. Everyone is claiming Antifa was posing as Republicans. Maybe so, but I personally know a couple of handfuls of people who were there at the Capitol videoing, and they weren't Antifa. That being said, they are making a bad name for us Republicans, and I'm disappointed.
well, in a group of the Antifa people were bussed in
Now, let me read
through an
one,
agenda. Yeah.
let me read one part of that again. I personally know a couple of handfuls of people who were there at the Capitol videoing,
Yeah.
key, and they weren't Antifa. You sure?
Well, I mean, how can you be sure? Because
I'm just kidding you, Zach. I'm just kidding you.
there were plants, and that's where the
Yes, they
laptops come up missing.
Now, we personally know some people there that were there, and
Yep.
they said that, they were right up there at front, and they never ascended on the Capitol steps. That's as far as they went.
I don't remember hearing them complain about or bitching about getting sprayed with pepper spray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, James Halstead said, look, it could have been much worse, but the kind of people who marched on Washington were good, law-abiding citizens showing their concern with our election process.
Yep.
They could have totally destroyed our nation's capital if they had wanted to.
it's getting scary, folks.
That's a fact, James.
L. Perry commented on Zach Wilbert's statement by saying, "Excuse me, but show me where the dudes are Trump supporters. They are Antifa members, and they were bussed in, and security opened the barricades and let them pass through."
It's because that's what they were told to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But, the Orange Man had a different plan. I'll leave it at that. Michelle Motley Smith said, "I expected more violence. We have lost our country." And Shirley Mills said, "It's time to take our country back. This could be a start." Well, it's definitely a wake-up call, Shirley.
Well, your lovely daughter-in-law, Cassie Terry, said it really makes you think that this was all planned.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that our Capitol, with our nation's leaders inside, is breached in just minutes? Just doesn't make sense anymore. You see the same guys that were at the BLM riots that were inside of the Capitol.
Yeah.
And she's right.
She is right.
Seems kind of fishy to me. People were walking in the Capitol in a single file line at the beginning as if they were on a tour. They were even within the barriers. You hear the media saying they were trying to gain control of the Capitol in a frantic voice, and all of the while people are walking in a single file like nothing is going on.
Yeah.
Hope Castillo told Cassie, "Yep, it was a setup."
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree wholeheartedly with that, but our team took advantage of that situation too.
Now, some of them did, and I regret to say that, but there was a lot more damage that could have been done to that building.
Oh man, they could have brought it down to the ground if they wanted to, but. Yeah.
But they didn't.
They found explosive devices scattered around.
Yeah, around on the grounds and stuff like
and
that. And the guy, incidentally, that planted those has been arrested.
Yeah?
Yep. They found out who he was.
But they won't go boom.
Yeah.
That's my background, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So ain't anything going to go boom in that bag. Josh Thomas said people are dumb, dangerous, and panicky animals. Andy Morrison disagreed, saying that people are not dangerous unless they feel cornered or threatened, which is exactly the way people are feeling today. And that is a strong statement right there.
Yes, it is.
There is no one to blame but Democrats for trying to force their political agendas down our throat. Mm-hmm. What's going to freak me out if we get pushed far enough back in the corner, they come out playing by the same rules.
Yeah.
I will be like Zach. I'll be disappointed.
Yeah. Lynn Butler said, "I'm afraid the crap has hit the fan.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough on old Joe and Kamala. This will bring a new meeting to quarantine." Janelle Colner said, "My reaction to the whole thing, it went way out of hand."
No, it's been going that way for a while. Jim Younger said, kids in the 90s were drilled to let it out and express your feelings by schools, doctors, and even our own government.
Bingo.
The way we raised our kids was taken away. Mm-hmm. And that's a profound statement, too.
Yes, sir. You and I have talked about that on many occasions.
Yeah, they lost the ability to bust that ass, so the kids are going to act a fool. The professional said, "Timeout era. Let them throw a fit. They need to get it out." All I can say is, how the hell is that working out, lawmakers?
There you go.
Sound like something I'd say.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
How's that working out for you, boys?
Our buddy Crawford Young said it's just brain fodder from the media to persuade the masses into believing a certain narrative. At what point do you look back at politics, especially if you have some age, and realize it is a good cop, bad cop routine,
right,
designed to distract and entertain the masses without anyone being held accountable?
No.
It's the definition of insanity to do the same thing over and over, but expect different results. Garbage in, garbage out, period. It's always been the case. It just took a non-political figure and businessman to come in and expose it, and all people to remove their blinders.
By God, that's pretty stout stuff right there. That's pretty deep, Crawdaddy. And I remember.
I agree with him, though.
Only because I was like 11 or 12 years old when JFK got popped. That has been probably something that's been going on even before our time. It just wasn't brought up because the media didn't have any right to rule,
That's true.
Renee Deaver said Antifa and BLM, the Dems, have been burning down cities, looting, and murdering for months now. All of that swept under the rug, but now they want to invoke the 25th Amendment to get rid of Trump? This is over. Jeannie Walsh agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm kind of straddling the fence on
Yeah,
that
there you
because I have what's called hope.
Yes, I do too, and faith.
Yeah.
Shirley Mills said, I think the Capitol Hill incident was staged by Antifa and Democrats to make Trump look bad. It doesn't work, a-holes. He is still the best president you will ever have. He truly cares about America and her people, Republican or Democrat.
That's pretty much my take on it,
Yeah,
too.
that's what you can say what you want to about President Trump. You can hate him for who he is, but you can't hate him for what he's done
That's a
for
fact.
this country.
That's a fact.
He has done some incredible things that have helped us Americans. Oh, and one thing, too, they're already talking about revoking the tax cuts to businesses and corporations that President Trump put in, which allowed them to hire more people,
Yeah,
make more business, and earn more income
that's a fact.
than ever before, and everybody was happy. The lowest unemployment rate in history amongst blacks and Hispanics.
Everybody.
Everybody. And everybody was happy till this dadgum COVID thing came along and kind of messed it up. But if they go in there and start
Part of
repealing
their agenda.
all of this stuff, we're going to be right back in the Obama years, and God help us on that one.
Well, that's where it's headed, man.
Yeah.
Stephanie Conti told us I watched Misters back later that night. Mind you, they were not near the Capitol anymore. They literally were knocking people down, spraying them with pepper spray, all without first giving them a direction. The protesters were not saying anything to them. They were just talking amongst themselves, and they started pushing them.
Jeez.
Then the National Guard showed up, which they were behind the building the whole time. Don't kid yourself. And lined up in front of the police, and the police then pushed them into protesters and spraying pepper spray. The protesters filming kept asking them, what do y'all want us to do? You haven't told us what you want us to do or where you want us to go. It was pathetic. It was like the police were trying to get someone to retaliate, but they never did.
Yep.
Our country is in big trouble if we, the people, don't put a stop to the Democrats and rhinos, media, and the censorship that media and social networks are doing.
Bingo.
That, my friends, is 100% communism, and you have zero rights when that is allowed.
That is
Food
a
for
very profane
You better
statement.
believe it.
Stephanie,
Food for thought, Steph.
that is a wonderful post right there. It
That
gets you
little-
to thinking.
That
It
little
really
gal
does.
from Victoria knows what she's talking about.
Yeah,
I
she
do
does.
believe.
I tell you, it's getting scary. It's
It
really
is.
getting scary. If you
Well,
were a
it's starting to
conservative,
level
we
up
even
a
had a
little bit,
Democratic congressman come out yesterday and say that all Trump supporters need to be deprogrammed from what we believe, meaning conservative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Come on, they're just trying to stamp out all of the conservative voices in the country, which includes your opinions. Lord have mercy.
Deprogrammed, como en inglés, brainwashed.
We're still gonna
Yep.
voice your opinion here until they shut us off, folks.
Well, and they're liable to do that because
They're liable to do it.
YouTube done jumped on the damn bandwagon too. You know, like a bunch
Yeah,
of
they
morons.
took President Trump's
You know,
channel
what the
off last
hell?
night.
What the hell's
Jesus.
going on, man?
Ryan Price said the idiots who assembled to protest screwed the entire country over.
Yeah.
Why give rioters the cover they need to riot? If you removed 200,000 people, this wouldn't have happened. Antifa uses large groups to destroy our country, so why give them a large group to blame?
There again, if you would have added 200,000 people to the Capitol incident, which I use freely incident, maybe some of the rules would have changed.
Quite very possible. That's very
Either
possible.
that or we wouldn't have a nation's capital building anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Russell Curlin up Wyoming said it's sad that this country has come to this. The media is throwing gas on the fire. People are bickering back and forth, and both parties are corrupt. Now, that I agree with, Russ. It's time for the American worker to sit down and do nothing, which I don't agree with. No shipping of goods, no roads plowed or fixed, just plain stop. The largest COVID lockdown ever. Let D.C. know who they work for and who has the true power.
Russell, that last sentence is something I agree with you 110%.
And me as well, Russ. I mean,
You know, that's the biggest thing I see, Pappy, that has happened in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
All of those legislators forget who elected them and who they work for.
yeah, but they have the strings.
Yeah.
They're the ones that pull the strings. You know? I mean,
They are.
They can shut down the whole damn country if they want
That's
to.
exactly
you think
right.
it's shut down now? Go to a third world country
Yeah.
and see what the true meaning of being shut down is all
And I
about.
think all of you liberals out there and Democrats need to take a vacation to Iran and some of these other places and see just how much freedom you have.
You know, and there's freely. I mean, I've traveled a little bit.
Yeah, you have with the
my career.
government, yeah.
I did, and there's even free countries. Free countries. You wouldn't believe what it's like to be over there. You're just going, what the hell?
Get me back to America.
Let's define free. Let me read your Webster's Unabridged.
Bruce Walker said, I'm sorry about the woman who got shot, but this is what happens when you break into someone's house.
This is why I don't crawl through the bedroom window when I lose my key. I'm afraid the divine one will shoot me in the booty with that big
Yeah, all you
shotgun I just bought.
unfaithful husbands out there need to take that into consideration. Going through them windows,
Well, things are
I
so
could get you shot.
things are so damn touchy anymore. You don't have to be unfaithful. You know, I mean, you just come in unannounced and you'll have to get your butt peppered. You know,
Ain't that so?
I can't like that. Been there, done that. Finally, Ashley Williams finished the conversation by saying, "I was sad to see some idiots trying to destroy our nation's capital, but I do believe they were affiliated with the Trump rally. I believe they were interlopers hired to cause trouble to make President Trump and his followers look bad." Well, that was probably 2/3 of them. I mean,
Yeah.
he had some boys in there too. It is indeed a shame that the country has come to this. My sister was at that rally, and she said she marched with the others to the steps of the Capitol. All of a sudden, there were a number of people who appeared from the west side of the Capitol and started all the trouble. The vast majority of the marchers never entered the building itself. Staged? I think so. Just like everything else in this damn election, it's all staged, darling. It really is, Ashley. Thank you for sending that in. We appreciate y'all's comments. by
The
way.
value of your comments and suggestions is just invaluable to us because that's what this show is predicated on and dedicated to, and that is to let your opinion and your voice be heard, and we're going to continue to do that.
I'll venture out to say this, my amigo. If there was 71 million people that subscribe to our show, they'd all say the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. They sure would.
Yep.
Let's take a look at some of the viewer comments we got in on some of our past shows.
Okay.
Chris Whitworth commented on our show that if COVID, or that asked if COVID limited your Christmas.
No.
He said we had a bit of a smaller group because one of the daughters had been exposed at work.
Ow. Well, good juju for your sweet daughter. I
Yeah.
hope she's through it and over it.
Absolutely.
I do. Sharon Palmore also commented on the show by saying, yes, we're usually about 30 people in attendance, but to protect my 84-year-old mother and her generations after her, we stayed each to his own. But the spirit of our reason for the season was taught to us that we gathered to celebrate the birth of Christ.
Bingo.
In short on numbers, and stronger in faith. Very well said, Sharon.
Absolutely.
That is the meaning of the season right
That
there.
is
Gerhard.
exactly
Yeah.
right. The reason for the
Yeah.
season.
Thanks for sending that in, by the way.
Bob Baker shared his feeling on our show concerning Texas seceding from the Union. He said, yes, Texas should succeed. D.C. has willfully turned against the American people, and neither party has stepped up to enforce the laws that would protect all citizens. I agree.
Yeah, I do too. And finally, Brett Barker commented on our show about the Georgia election. He said it was rigged like the rest of them. They will live to regret it. And Stephen W. Crenshaw up in Hawaii agreed, said it was rigged from the start. And I agree there, cuz.
Yes,
By
sir.
God.
I love that. Thanks, everybody, for your comments today. Listen, if you have a comment, a concern, an idea for a show, there's many, many ways that you could do that.
Give us one.
Well, you can go to our email account, which is right over my shoulder here, grandpaandpappy@gmail.com.
By God.
Or
you can go and hit us up directly on our show website page, which can be found by keying in www.grandpaandpappy.com. It's www.grandpaandpappy.com, where you'll see that red button. Push it. Come up with a password that's easy to remember. Write it down if you're my age, and that way you don't forget it.
you don't forget it.
And while you're there, you can leave comments, show topics, thumbs up, thumbs down. We've got other outlets on that page as well, which who knows, that might change in the future too.
That's correct. And you can also go to the Grandpa and Pappy Facebook group page, where you can see many of the opinions and comments. That is about 98 to 99% of what you hear when we rebroadcast them here.
Even the unedited ones, which some we block,
some we have
drop
to,
kick through the field goal to life out there. You know who you are out there, big boy.
As you slide down that great banister of life, don't get a splinter in your career.
Splinter in your
Anyway,
rectum.
get it to us, and let's have a good time with it.
Yeah.
Because we're going to continue to give your opinions and what's on your mind and what you're thinking, as long as they will let us do this.
And you know why? Because we're listening, by God.
We are listening.
You guys rock, man.
Absolutely.
That's all I can
T-shirts, we got a few of them left.
T-shirts, we got enough to cover the bottom of a box. Got a couple of 2 or 3 extra larges. We've got some larges, no mediums or smalls or anything bigger than extra larges. Just so I can get that near empty box out of the back of old Black Betty, the big truck.
That ain't a truck, folks. That's a tank.
It's a beast. She's my
tank.
She's my girlfriend. But I'll save you $2 just to, let's call it a winter clearance sale.
There you go.
Save you some shipping. Send me $18, and I'll be more than happy to get you out a T-shirt. And I might even feel goofy and throw some extra stuff in there. But just hit us up, any one of us 3, on the show page, website. Text us. Most of you know how to get in touch with Grandpa and myself. Hit us up, and I'll be more than happy to get one in your hands.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, we want to invite you to join us back on Friday, because we got another interesting subject that was suggested and asked by our listener, Doug Gressett.
I can already answer for him, I guess.
Should the president attend the inauguration of Joe Biden?
He
This is
says,
going to be interesting,
"I know."
because there were some great comments
there
received on that, and we
Yeah,
invite
there
you to join us for our Friday show on that. Until then,
And by the way, if you've yet to get your comment on that, get it in so we can get it on Friday's show, okay?
Yeah. So anyway, it's been good and fun to have you with us. We hope you'll join us back on Friday for another edition of the Grandpa and Pappy
Always
Show.
good to have you on board.
And as we always end all of our programs, we ask you to reach out, hug your kids, and let them know you love them.
Let them know we love them right here at the Grandpa and Pappy Show, too, by God.
We surely do. Until we see you
We
back.
love them babies.
Yeah, until we see you back on Friday.
Take care of one another.
That's right. Take care of everybody. Be thankful you live in a great country like the United States of America. God bless you. God bless our country.
Step up to keep it that way.
And we'll see you back on Friday. Take
Later.
care. Bye-bye.